enter the stars, and something fascinating has just been revealed. Let's follow the path of pregnancy through the wilderness with the Israelites, except it's all in reverse. From birth, going backwards to conception, the pregnancy that would last 40 years in their journey and 40 weeks in the human womb. Let's start with the last of the 10 plagues, the Passover of the firstborn. Remember, God spared only those whose posts were marked by the blood of the Lamb. The post and lintel represents the entry into the beast system. And here now you clearly see the post and lintel is encoded in the United States Post Office logo, hiding in plain sight all this time. Everybody is postmarked in the beast system. You're identified by your address, the headdress of the Sphinx of Egypt. That is how they keep you in control. But the good version of that is being marked by the blood of the Lamb. And this is how you are passed over into Christ's fold. Only through Christ's blood are you spared. Birth, firstborn. Now, going in reverse, the narrow gate, the birth canal opens through the Red Sea. Of course, this is when the Red Sea was parted and the Exodus happened, the birth. Remember, we're going in reverse. Blood and water, the Red Sea, dilation of the cervix. Before that, the water broke, the Red Sea split. And we see clearly that the Nile Delta is shaped like the woman's birth canal, exactly where it should be. We are all born into bondage, born into Egypt. Going back even further, we see the desert of sin. Right here between Elim and Sinai. This is where the Israelites ate the manna. This is just like what a child would receive in the umbilical cord. Manna, not real food, simply nutrients. This is the fasting in the womb. And then, at the halfway point of pregnancy, the 20th week, we see the tip of Sinai, where the 10 Commandments were written by the finger of God. But they weren't written just once, they were written twice. That's 20 altogether. The halfway point of pregnancy, the 20th week, 20 commandments. Going back further at Gilbroth, we see the quail here. I think that's the fluttering of the child in the womb. Before the halfway point of pregnancy, you feel the child moving inside of you. And as we continue to travel back in time, we see the serpent who infected the woman. Yes, the copper serpent. This is it right here. On the pole, God made Moses erect this as punishment for the Israelites' murmurings and longing to be back in Egypt, back in bondage. And that brings us back to the beginning, the birth of sin in the world, the conception of the beast. And yes, even the yeast fits in to all of this, the yeast that causes the bread to rise. Unleavened bread was the requirement of the Passover because it removes the yeast which is present in the birth canal of women. It's called a yeast infection. And even that was part of this whole birthing process. It's all there. And now you know why yeast is taken out of the bread, because that is the sin that entered the world. But there's one more thing nobody else saw in the history of the Bible in the spiritual realm. And that is that when you look at the pregnant stomach of the woman in the Sinai Peninsula, this is the womb. You see the child, inverted, ready for birth, exactly where it should be. Here you see the head of the child, the arm coming out, the eye, the face, the child curled around here in the womb, ready for birth, through the birth canal, through the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea, exactly where it should be. And here in Egypt, you see the serpent or the beast crouching at the door of the womb, exactly where it should be too. And the Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of Agapa look like the two legs of the woman outstretched, ready to give birth. 40 years in the desert, 40 weeks in the womb. Take care and be safe, everybody.